Good afternoon, everyone. Tim Tunnicliffe here on the Great Rugger Run. It is day 24 today. Wowee, 3.5 weeks. It's been some journey. A quick injury update before we get started about where I am. Essentially, I think, without getting an x-ray or a scan or anything, I'm pretty sure I've got a stress fracture in my right leg. So that means being incredibly careful with it at the moment. I definitely don't want to make it any worse. And, you know, walking seems to be a sustainable way of moving at the moment. So although I'm struggling a little bit with the disappointment of not being able to run the whole thing, at least I'm still moving. At least I'm staying up with schedule. So I'm taking some solace in that. Now, in some ways it's easier, obviously. Typically it's easier to walk than to run. But when I'm doing the distances that I'm doing, the days are getting very, very long. So it's a double-edged sword, but we'll get there. We'll keep moving. Now, I'm here at Ellingham Ringwood Rugby Club this afternoon. And I was supposed to meet Andy Stevens here, but sadly and unavoidably, he had to pull out at late notice. So we are going to do another video here at Ellingham, hopefully after the run has concluded, so that we can speak to Andy and get a full idea of what goes on here at Ellingham Ringwood. Now, I am in some position to tell you quite a bit of stuff because this is the club where my brother plays and my nephews play, so I do know a little bit about it. And talking of nephews, this is kind of like the lower pitch over here. Probably the first place they picked up a rugby ball and started running with it. And Ellingham and Ringwood have got a tremendous minis and juniors section here. They were recognised by the RFU and had, you know, the pleasure of having people like David Flatman, Nolly Waterman, and Jason Robinson come down here to congratulate them on their minis and juniors section. So well done, Ellingham and Ringwood, on that. Tremendous stuff. You know, in my experience, what I've seen, I think you're doing really good stuff here. So keep that up. Ellingham Ringwood also have a women's section, and they are incredibly proud, I know, to have been the first club for both Poppy and Brianny Cleall England internationals. And I mean, Poppy might be the best player in the world at the moment, it's possible. So they started out their rugby here at Ellingham and Ringwood as well. And I know the club's incredibly proud to have you as former players, ambassadors for the game and for Ellingham and Ringwood too. So great work on that. Now, lastly, the men's section, which I probably know least about here, but I'm wandering to the top end of the pitch here because I came to a game here on Saturday. It was a third 15 game where my brother turned out for what was probably his first game in what felt like a lifetime. And somewhere up here, I'm wandering to the spot. Is it on the 22? It was probably a bit over the 22. He'll tell you otherwise. But the ball came blind. There was a massive overlap. Probably 3 players out there to the right. Caught the ball nice and cleanly, square to the line. The defender drifted. He darted through and dived in for a score. Not only was it a score, it was a really important score. 29-10 down at half-time they were. And they came back to win 36-29. Quite a remarkable turnaround. It was a real game for the neutrals on Saturday here. But played in the right spirit. Highly competitive. There were people over 60 years old playing in this game here on Saturday, and some real youngsters too. So it was a proper festival of rugby, well supported, and I think everybody really enjoyed their day. So well done on that as well. And thank you from me on behalf of all the charities, because Ellingham Ringwood also did a bucket collection here for the 4 charities: Blokes, Looseheads, Brave Mind and Give a Ruck, and collected the best part of 100 quid on Saturday for the charities. So I really appreciate that, and I thank everybody that was involved. Now, this is also the scene here of Old Colfians pre-season tour circa 2014, maybe, something like that, where I brought the lads away. I was director of rugby at the time, brought them down to the south coast here. We had a day of training on this pitch. Just under these posts was the moment I got the cones out with numbers on them and invited people to, you know, basically play sort of chess with the rugby cones to indicate what we would do in certain situations. I think it went down quite well. I'm not sure. But it was a great weekend. I definitely recommend a pre-season tour to anybody, any clubs, if indeed you can do it someplace. Yeah, so I've got a bit of personal history here at this club. It's nice to be back. I'm going to just wander over here. We can't get into the clubhouses, like I said. Andy sadly couldn't make it at very late notice, but we'll revisit that. But I was in the clubhouse on Saturday, and I got a clock up here. It says never knowingly on time. I wonder if there's a story behind that. And looks like it's slightly off whack as well, rotated to the right. There's a lovely bar in there. And if you do end up coming to this club at any point, take a look behind the bar, because there is a most random collection of things you'll ever see. And it seems like nobody really knows how all those little bits and pieces got there. So if you come, take a look behind the bar and try and figure out what everything is. Okay, that's done here at Ellingham Ringwood. It's been lovely being back. And now it's time to head on down to Bournemouth Rugby Club, where I will see you later in the day. It's going to be another long day here on the Great Rugger Run as I walk through the pain and hopefully get to the end. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.